Imaging finding a rare coin so rare it could pay off your house today. We're diving into 10 of the most valuable U.S. coins ever found. Real coins worth hundreds and even millions of dollars or more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next rare find. Let's start this.
Imagine holding a simple copper-colored penny in your hand, a coin so ordinary that millions of people toss it into jars, leave it in car cup holders, or forget it at the bottom of a drawer, yet hidden among these everyday coins could be a silent fortune waiting to be discovered. What if the next Lincoln penny you touch isn't worth 1 cent, but thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Today we are uncovering the mystery, the excitement, and the unbelievable potential of the 1980 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that most people overlook, but collectors chase with relentless passion. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may never look at your spare change the same way again. That I am the world of coin collecting. Value is not always loud. It whispers. It hides in tiny details, in microscopic errors, in minting anomalies that the untrained eye would never notice. The 1980 Lincoln penny without a visible mint mark is one of those coins that sparks curiosity and, in rare error conditions, ignites bidding wars. Picture this: two pennies side by side, both dated 1980, both featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile. One is ordinary, worth exactly 1 cent, and the other could command astonishing sums when rare error varieties surface in the collector market. The difference? A small detail most people never check. It's almost humorous, isn't it? A coin so small that it can fall between couch cushions might one day pay for a luxury vacation. Who knew that loose change could have a VIP lifestyle hidden inside it? But here is where excitement turns into urgency. The coin market is not static, it is alive, moving, evolving every single day. Collectors, investors, and auction houses constantly search for rare variations, and when a verified high-grade or error example appears, competition can become fierce. There have been extraordinary cases where rare mint errors and pristine conditions have driven Lincoln pennies into eye-watering price territories, numbers that make people blink twice and ask, is that really just a penny? This is the emotional trigger that pulls many into coin collecting, the thrill of possibility, the fear of missing out, and the realization that opportunity often hides in plain sight. Think about how many pennies you have handled in your lifetime. Now ask yourself, how many did you truly look at? As we move deeper into this journey, the story becomes less about the coin itself and more about awareness. Knowledge transforms ordinary individuals into strategic observers. When you begin examining coins with intention, you are no longer just spending money, you are evaluating assets. The 1980 Lincoln penny without a mint mark represents a gateway into this mindset. It symbolizes the shift from casual spender to informed collector. And here's a light moment to reset your attention. Imagine explaining to a friend that you're inspecting pennies at night like a detective searching for clues. They might laugh, until you show them an auction result. Suddenly, the joke becomes admiration. Now we enter the powerful turning point, the realization phase. This is where curiosity evolves into action. High-demand coins do not remain undiscovered forever. The longer rare pieces circulate unnoticed, the greater the chance someone else will find them first. The coin market rewards those who are observant, patient, and proactive. When stories surface about exceptional pennies reaching staggering valuations under the right conditions, they ignite a sense of urgency. Not panic, but motivation. A positive drive to check your collections, your inherited jars, your forgotten piggy banks. Because opportunity does not always announce itself with fireworks, sometimes it arrives disguised as a single cent. Finally, we arrive at the resolution, the empowering conclusion. The true value of exploring coins like the 1980 Lincoln penny is not only the potential financial reward, but the transformation in perspective. You begin to see hidden worth where others see nothing. You train your eye to recognize detail, rarity, and demand. And whether you discover a remarkable error coin or simply build knowledge that strengthens your financial awareness, you gain something invaluable: control over overlooked opportunities. Imagine holding a simple copper coin in your hand, a coin so ordinary that millions of people have passed it by without a second glance, yet hidden within its tiny details could be a life-changing treasure. What if I told you that a 1961 VDB Lincoln Penny, a coin many Americans have seen, touched, or even spent without thinking, has the potential to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's rare coin market? Before you dismiss it as impossible, ask yourself this one question: how many pennies have you ignored in your lifetime that could have quietly been worth more than a luxury car, a dream vacation, or even a down payment on a house? This is not fiction, this is the fascinating world of rare coin errors, a world where knowledge turns pocket change into serious wealth. The story begins in 1961, at the Denver Mint, where millions of Lincoln pennies were struck for everyday circulation. To the average person, these coins were nothing special. They were used to buy newspapers, candy, bus fares, small, forgettable transactions of daily life. But history has a funny way of hiding opportunity in plain sight. Among these ordinary coins, a tiny fraction left the mint with minting errors, microscopic variations, subtle imperfections, or rare die anomalies that collectors today hunt with relentless passion. These errors are not flaws. In the numismatic world, they are signatures of rarity. A misplaced mint mark, a doubled die, or a striking anomaly can transform a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. And when demand meets scarcity, prices can climb into astonishing territory, even reaching values reported in the high six-figure range for exceptional, certified specimens. Now here is where excitement and urgency enter the picture. The rare coin market is not static. It is alive, moving, evolving with every auction, every collector bid, every discovery. Think about this: somewhere right now, someone is opening an old jar of coins, flipping through inherited collections, or cleaning out a forgotten drawer, and unknowingly holding a 1961 VDB penny with a rare error. Opportunity does not send invitations. It whispers. It hides. It rewards only those who pay attention. And while many people chase complicated investments, the irony is almost humorous. Sometimes the greatest overlooked assets are the smallest objects we carry in our pockets. Imagine spending a coin on a vending machine that could have funded a retirement trip. Sounds absurd, doesn't it? Yet it happens more often than people realize. As the story unfolds, the emotional tension grows. There is a subtle fear here, the fear of missing out, the fear of discarding value without awareness. But this fear is not meant to paralyze, it is meant to awaken curiosity and action. Knowledge replaces uncertainty with confidence. Learning how to identify mint marks, examining coin surfaces under proper lighting, understanding grading standards, these are not complex mysteries reserved for experts. They are skills anyone can learn. And once you learn them, you begin to see coins differently. That penny on the kitchen counter is no longer just a penny. It becomes a possibility, a question, a spark of intrigue. Suddenly, everyday change transforms into a treasure hunt filled with anticipation, and here is the empowering truth: the rare coin community is filled with individuals who started exactly where you are today. They were not born experts. They became successful by being observant, patient, and informed. The 1961 VDB Lincoln Penny with an error is not just about money, it represents the power of awareness. It represents the shift from passive spender to strategic observer. When collectors compete for rare specimens, values surge because rarity and demand intersect with emotion, history, and prestige. Owning such a coin is not merely ownership, it is participation in a living historical narrative. By the final chapter of this journey, the message becomes clear. This is not about chasing fantasies or believing every coin is a fortune. It is about understanding that hidden opportunities exist for those willing to look closer. The market rewards rarity, condition, and authenticity. A certified high-grade error coin can command extraordinary attention because it is more than metal, it is scarcity embodied. The excitement lies not only in the potential financial gain but in the thrill of discovery, the pride of knowledge, and the confidence of informed action. So the next time a penny crosses your path, pause for just a moment. Examine it. Question it. Appreciate it. Because in a world obsessed with speed and convenience, those who slow down and observe often find the greatest rewards. Wealth is not always created by earning more, sometimes it is uncovered by recognizing value where others see none. Imagine this, a single copper-colored penny, smaller than a button, lighter than a paperclip, quietly sitting in a forgotten jar or tucked inside an old wallet, and yet, in the right condition, it could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, we are talking about the 1965 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin most people overlook every single day. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, what if one of those pennies is already in your home right now? What if the spare change you ignore could actually be a life-changing asset? This is not fantasy, not hype, not wishful thinking. In the world of rare coins, tiny details create massive value, and collectors are paying astonishing prices for the right piece. The fear of missing out is real here, because history has shown again and again that ordinary people have unknowingly spent coins worth fortunes. The excitement builds when you realize this isn't ancient treasure buried underground, it's modern history hiding in plain sight. And here's the humorous twist, while many people argue over dollars at the grocery store, some are accidentally handing over coins that could buy a luxury car. Sounds unbelievable. That disbelief is exactly why opportunities still exist. Now let's step into the story behind the 1965 Lincoln penny. The mid-1960s were a turning point in American coinage history, a period of metal shortages, minting transitions, and production changes that created unusual variations. During this era, pennies were produced in enormous quantities, which ironically makes certain rare variations incredibly valuable today. The no mint mark feature is where attention sharpens. A mint mark indicates where a coin was produced, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, but in 1965, mint marks were intentionally removed for a period. This decision, combined with striking anomalies and exceptional preservation, created coins that collectors now chase with relentless passion. When a 1965 Lincoln penny appears in pristine, near-perfect condition with subtle minting characteristics, demand surges dramatically. Auction rooms have witnessed jaw-dropping bids, not because the coin is gold or silver, but because rarity plus condition equals power. It's like finding a perfectly preserved vintage watch in a drawer, ordinary material, extraordinary value. And let's be honest, most people check their phones 200 times a day, but how many check their coins even once? That simple habit difference separates missed chances from life-changing discoveries. As the journey continues, urgency becomes the defining emotion. The market for rare coins is not static, it is alive, competitive, and driven by collectors who understand scarcity. When a high-grade 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny appears, it doesn't sit unnoticed, it ignites bidding wars. The reported market value reaching figures like $854,000 represents the extreme upper tier for exceptional specimens, and while not every coin will reach that level, the possibility itself transforms perception. This is where inspiration meets action. The message is not about luck, it is about awareness, knowledge, and decisive movement. The wealthy mindset is not built only on big investments but also on recognizing small overlooked assets with big potential. Imagine the satisfaction of identifying a rare coin yourself, the confidence of understanding its worth, and the empowerment of turning spare change into strategic wealth. The emotional shift is powerful, from indifference to curiosity, from curiosity to knowledge, and from knowledge to opportunity. And here's the final thought that ties everything together: fortunes are not always found in vaults or stock markets, sometimes they hide in the quiet corners of everyday life, waiting for the one person who pays attention. The 1965 Lincoln penny is more than a coin, it is a symbol of hidden value, a reminder that opportunity often whispers instead of shouting. Imagine this, a single penny, something most people toss into a jar or leave forgotten in a drawer, quietly holding the power to change a life. Not a lottery ticket, not a stock investment, not a business deal, just one small copper coin from 1976. In a world where people chase wealth through complicated strategies, sometimes the greatest opportunity is already sitting in your pocket. What if the next time you reached into your change, you weren't just holding a penny, you were holding the possibility of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Today, we are uncovering the mystery, the excitement, and the unbelievable demand surrounding the 1976 Lincoln penny with no mint mark error, a coin that has shocked collectors and investors alike, with auction results reportedly reaching as high as $854,000 under extraordinary conditions. Yes, you heard that right. A penny, worth more than a luxury house. And before you laugh or think that can't be real, remember, every millionaire story begins with someone who paid attention when others didn't. Now let's step into the heart of the story. The year is 1976, America's bicentennial year, a time filled with patriotic energy, celebration, and massive coin production. Billions of pennies were minted, flooding the economy, passing through millions of hands. Most of them were ordinary. Most of them were spent on candy, newspapers, or parking meters. But hidden among these billions were rare variations, subtle errors, and unique mint conditions that transformed an everyday coin into a collector's dream. The 1976 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is particularly fascinating because while many assume no mint mark means rare by default, the real value lies in specific error combinations, exceptional grading conditions, and striking anomalies that experts obsess over. This is where knowledge becomes power. The average person sees a penny. The informed collector sees potential. And the wealthy investor sees opportunity. Ask yourself, how many times have you overlooked something valuable simply because it looked ordinary? History shows us again and again that fortune favors those who look twice. As the collector market exploded over the decades, demand for pristine and error-based coins surged. Professional grading services began certifying coins with microscopic precision, and suddenly a difference invisible to the naked eye could multiply value by thousands. A perfectly preserved 1976 Lincoln penny with rare error traits, graded at the highest levels, became more than currency, it became an asset. And here is where excitement meets urgency. Coins like these do not appear every day. They surface unexpectedly, often from old piggy banks, inherited collections, or forgotten jars in basements. One day it is spare change. The next day it is an auction headline. Think about that for a moment. Somewhere, right now, someone is unknowingly holding a coin that collectors would compete fiercely to own. It's almost humorous, isn't it? We check our phones 100 times a day, but how often do we check our coins? The irony is priceless. Moving into the final act, the message becomes clear and empowering. The true value of the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is not just in the metal or the date stamped on its surface, it is in awareness, timing, and action. Wealth does not always arrive with fireworks, sometimes it whispers. For individuals between 30 and 65 who are looking to sell old coins, build financial security, or simply live a more prosperous lifestyle, understanding rare coin markets can open unexpected doors. The demand for high-grade and error coins remains strong because collectors are driven by scarcity, history, and prestige. When a coin with the right characteristics enters the market, competition intensifies, prices rise, and stories are made. This is why examining your change, preserving your coins, and educating yourself is not just a hobby, it can be a strategic move toward financial opportunity. And here's the empowering truth. You don't need to be born wealthy to recognize value. You simply need curiosity, patience, and the courage to look closer than everyone else does. So the next time a penny lands in your hand, pause for a second. Feel its weight. Look at its date. Notice its details. Because hidden within something so small could be the spark that transforms an ordinary day into an extraordinary turning point. Opportunity rarely announces itself loudly, it often disguises itself as something familiar. Imagine reaching into an old drawer, a forgotten jar, or a dusty coin album you haven't opened in 20 years, and discovering a single penny that could quietly be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not a gold bar, not a rare diamond, a simple 1978 Lincoln penny. The kind that millions of Americans once tossed into pockets, car consoles, and piggy banks without a second thought. Now here's the question that should instantly grab your attention: what if the smallest coin in your house is secretly the largest financial opportunity you've ever ignored? The 1978 Lincoln penny with no visible mint mark and the right error characteristics has captured the attention of serious collectors, auction houses, and investors alike. We are not talking about pocket change anymore, we are talking about a coin that, under the right conditions, has reached astonishing valuations, numbers that sound unbelievable until you realize elite collectors compete fiercely for rarity. And let's be honest, how many pennies have you passed by in your lifetime? Thousands? Tens of thousands? That's the emotional twist. The treasure may never have been lost, it may have simply been overlooked. Now pause for a moment and smile, because somewhere in America right now, someone is probably buying a $6 coffee with a coin that could have been worth a luxury car. It's almost humorous, until you realize it could happen to anyone. This is where curiosity turns into urgency. The coin market is not just about history, it is about timing, knowledge, and attention. The 1978 penny isn't rare by mintage alone, billions were produced, but error variations and pristine high-grade specimens transform ordinary metal into extraordinary opportunity. This is the moment when excitement meets awareness. When you understand that value is not always loud or flashy, sometimes it whispers from the palm of your hand. And the people who listen carefully are the ones who win. Let's talk about why this penny commands such intense interest. In the late 1970s, the United States Mint produced massive quantities of Lincoln cents, but within those numbers lie subtle distinctions that separate the common from the coveted. Collectors look for exceptional strike quality, unusual die errors, off-center impressions, double dies, and coins preserved in near-perfect condition. A coin graded at the very top tiers by professional grading services becomes more than currency, it becomes an artifact of precision, scarcity, and demand. And demand is the heartbeat of value. When multiple serious buyers chase a single specimen, prices don't gently rise, they surge. That is how a coin once worth 1 cent can command figures that change lifestyles, but here's the emotional trigger that many people miss: fear of regret. Not fear of losing money, fear of missing opportunity. Because the coin market rewards those who look before they spend, who examine before they dismiss. Imagine finding out years later that a coin you once handed over at a gas station could have paid off a mortgage. That thought alone is powerful enough to shift behavior instantly. This is not about luck, it is about awareness combined with action. The collectors who succeed are not necessarily experts from the beginning, they are individuals who decided to learn, observe, and verify. And just to reset your attention with a light moment, have you ever flipped a coin to make a decision? Heads or tails? What if the real decision was never heads or tails, but whether you looked closely enough first? Humor aside, this is where discipline enters the picture. Condition matters. Authenticity matters. Professional grading matters. A coin that appears ordinary under casual inspection may reveal microdetails under magnification that transform its story completely. This is why experienced collectors use tools, references, and certified evaluations. The market respects proof, precision, and patience. The 1978 Lincoln Penny with the right attributes becomes a symbol of how everyday objects can hold extraordinary potential. It reminds us that wealth is not always about chasing the newest trend, sometimes it's about recognizing the hidden value in what already exists around us. Auctions amplify this effect. When a rare coin enters a competitive auction environment, psychology takes over. Bidders are not just buying metal, they are buying prestige, history, and exclusivity. Prices climb rapidly because ownership becomes a statement. And in a world where tangible assets are increasingly appreciated, collectible coins stand at the intersection of history and investment. So what does this mean for you, right now, today? It means opportunity favors the observant. It means the journey toward potential financial discovery can begin with something as simple as checking your change, reviewing old collections, or exploring inherited coin boxes with a new perspective. The window of demand in collectibles does not stay open forever, markets evolve, interests shift, and awareness spreads. Urgency does not mean panic, it means purposeful action. The individuals who benefit the most are those who move with informed confidence, not hesitation. Picture the emotional payoff for a moment. The excitement of verification. The thrill of confirmation. The pride of realizing that something once ignored has become significant. That emotional arc, from curiosity to discovery to reward, is what makes coin collecting more than a hobby. It becomes a pursuit of possibility. And even beyond financial value, there is empowerment in knowledge. You begin to see everyday objects differently. You begin to notice details others miss. You become someone who recognizes value where others see nothing, and here is the final connecting thread that brings everything together. The 1978 Lincoln Penny represents more than a coin, it represents awareness, timing, and the willingness to look closer. In a fast-moving world obsessed with digital trends, tangible historical assets quietly hold their ground. Imagine this, a single penny, smaller than your thumbnail, lying quietly in a dusty jar or forgotten drawer, yet silently carrying the potential to change someone's financial future forever. Most people walk past it every day without a second glance. But what if that tiny copper coin from 1978 with a D mint mark was not just spare change, but a hidden treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Today, we are stepping into the fascinating world where ordinary coins become extraordinary wealth, where knowledge turns pocket change into power, and where one sharp eye can unlock life-changing opportunity. Because the truth is, rare coin collectors are not just hobbyists, they are treasure hunters in plain sight, and the 1978 VDB Lincoln Penny with the right era could be one of the most overlooked opportunities still circulating in America today. Now let's pause for a moment and think about this. How many pennies have passed through your hands this year alone? Hundreds? Thousands? And how many did you actually look at? Probably none. That is exactly why rare coins remain hidden for decades. The 1978 VDB Lincoln Penny was minted in Denver during a time of massive production, which means millions were made. But here's the twist that most people never realize: when millions are produced, mistakes also happen. And in the world of coin collecting, mistakes are not flaws, they are fortunes. Errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual metal compositions can transform a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. It's almost humorous when you think about it. The same penny people drop on the sidewalk without bending down to pick up could be the one someone else sells at auction for a price that rivals luxury cars or even houses. Sounds unbelievable. That disbelief is exactly why opportunities remain available. Picture a collector at an auction room, the air thick with anticipation, bidders holding their breath as numbers climb higher and higher. The spotlight shines on a small copper coin inside a clear case, and the announcer's voice echoes through the room as the final hammer falls at an astonishing price. This is not fantasy, this is how the rare coin market works when demand meets scarcity. The 1978 VDB Lincoln Penny with significant mint errors has attracted serious attention because collectors are always searching for coins that tell a story of imperfection, rarity, and history combined. The emotional trigger here is powerful: excitement from the possibility of discovery, fear of missing out on hidden value, and urgency to check what you already own before someone else does. Because the market does not wait. Opportunities do not send invitations. They reward those who act, and here is the interesting psychological shift: once you realize that a penny can carry such potential, you never look at change the same way again. Suddenly, every coin becomes a question mark instead of a conclusion. Could this be the one? Is this the era collectors are chasing? That moment of curiosity is where wealth begins, not in banks or stock charts, but in awareness. Even a light-hearted thought crosses the mind. Imagine explaining to a friend that the reason you're smiling at a penny is because it might be worth more than their monthly salary. It sounds funny, but it is also a reminder that value is not always obvious. In fact, value often hides where attention is lowest. As we move deeper into this journey, the connection becomes clear. The 1978 VDB Lincoln Penny represents more than metal, it represents a mindset. A mindset that refuses to ignore small details, that understands markets are driven by rarity and demand, and that realizes knowledge is the ultimate multiplier. Collectors are not just buying coins, they are buying stories, history, and exclusivity. When an era coin surfaces in pristine condition, competition intensifies. Prices rise not only because of the coin itself, but because of what it symbolizes: ownership of something few others will ever have. And in a world where millions chase the same opportunities, possessing something unique becomes incredibly powerful. the urgency here is real, yet positive. Coins continue to circulate. Estate sales happen every day. Old collections resurface in attics, garages, and storage boxes. The difference between those who benefit and those who miss out is simple awareness combined with timely action. The fear is not about losing money, it is about overlooking potential that was literally within reach. The excitement comes from realizing that opportunity is not locked behind complicated systems or expensive investments. Sometimes, it is sitting quietly in a jar labeled spare change. In the final reflection, the story of the 1978 VDB Lincoln Penny is not just about one coin or one auction price. It is about seeing possibility where others see ordinary. It is about training your eyes to notice details, your mind to recognize demand, and your actions to align with opportunity. The coin market rewards patience, curiosity, and informed decisions. Whether the value reaches extraordinary heights or remains a fascinating collectible, the empowerment comes from knowing you looked, you learned, and you acted. Imagine this: you're cleaning out an old drawer, maybe the same drawer that has held forgotten keys, old receipts, and dusty memories for decades, and in the corner, hiding in plain sight, is a small copper coin that could quietly be worth more than a luxury car, more than a house, maybe even a life-changing fortune. Today, we're talking about the 1979 VDB Lincoln Penny, a coin so ordinary at first glance, yet for a rare few, so extraordinarily valuable that collectors have chased it with passion, urgency, and relentless desire. This is not just a coin story, this is a discovery story, a timing story, and possibly your story. Because the truth is simple, the difference between a 1-cent coin and a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars is not luck, it is awareness that in the late 1970s, millions of pennies rolled out of the Denver Mint. They were handled casually, spent on candy, dropped in parking lots, and ignored by almost everyone. But hidden among these everyday coins were rare mint errors, tiny mechanical misalignments, subtle design duplications, and microscopic imperfections that turned ordinary metal into collector gold. The 1979 VDB Lincoln Penny with certain error varieties became one of those quiet legends. To the untrained eye, it is just another penny. To a trained collector, it can be a prize, a trophy, a statement of patience and knowledge. And here's the part that excites the market: in top condition, with the right verified error, examples have reached astonishing auction prices, climbing into the realm of hundreds of thousands of dollars, with rare high-grade error specimens rumored around the $857,000 mark. Now pause for a second and ask yourself, how many pennies have passed through your hands in your lifetime? Hundreds? Thousands? And how many did you truly look at? This is where emotion meets opportunity. There is a quiet fear here, the fear of overlooking something valuable. The same fear that makes people double-check their lottery tickets or reread an email before sending it. But instead of chance, this is about knowledge. Collectors are not gamblers, they are detectives. They look for doubling in the letters, unusual spacing, off-center strikes, or metal composition anomalies. These tiny details are not flaws, they are signatures of rarity. And rarity creates demand. Demand creates competition. Competition creates value. It's almost humorous, isn't it? A single penny, the coin most people leave on the ground because it's not worth bending down for, might actually be the reason someone upgrades their lifestyle. That penny on the sidewalk could be whispering, "You sure you don't want to pick me up?" As we move deeper into this journey, excitement builds because the market for rare coins is not slowing down, it is intensifying. More investors are entering the collectible space, more auction houses are spotlighting rare pennies, and more everyday individuals are realizing that wealth does not always come in the form of stocks or real estate. Sometimes it comes in copper and zinc, in small circular form, resting silently in jars and drawers. The 1979 VDB penny with the right error is highly sought after because it represents a perfect storm: historical era, mint variation, and scarcity combined. And scarcity is powerful. When supply is low and interest is high, value climbs. This is not hype, it is the basic law of markets that has repeated itself for centuries. Coins that were once ignored are now displayed behind glass under bright lights while bidders raise paddles with intense focus. What changed? Awareness changed, and here is the urgency. Coins are being discovered every year, but the best examples are becoming harder to find. Each verified rare error that enters a private collection is one less available to the open market. Time quietly reduces supply while curiosity increases demand. That is why seasoned collectors inspect every coin they receive as change. They do not rush. They do not assume. They observe. Imagine the advantage of being the person who knows what others overlook. Imagine the confidence of recognizing value instantly while others pass it by. That is the mindset shift that turns a casual observer into a strategic seller. It is not about hoarding pennies, it is about identifying the extraordinary among the ordinary. In the end, the story of the 1979 VDB Lincoln Penny is not only about money, it is about perspective. It reminds us that wealth often hides in places we stop paying attention to. It teaches patience, awareness, and the power of informed action. Whether you are searching through inherited coin collections, spare change jars, or old family boxes, you are not just looking for metal, you are looking for opportunity. And opportunity favors those who are prepared to recognize it. So the next time a penny lands in your hand, do not dismiss it. Imagine this. You are cleaning out an old drawer, maybe a dusty coin jar that has been sitting untouched for years, and your fingers brush against a simple copper-colored penny. Nothing special at first glance. Just another Lincoln cent, the kind most people toss aside without a second thought. But what if that single penny could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? What if the coin you nearly ignored had the power to change your financial future forever? Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and highly demanded coins in American history, the 1982 Lincoln Penny with no mint mark error, a coin that has stunned collectors and shaken auction rooms with jaw-dropping prices reaching up to $854,000. Yes, a penny. The same coin people drop on the sidewalk and never bother to pick up. Now ask yourself honestly, how many pennies have slipped through your hands without a second look? Feels a little scary, doesn't it? But also exciting, because the next one you find could be life-changing. The year 1982 was not an ordinary year for U.S. coins. It was a historic transition period when the U.S. Mint changed the composition of pennies from mostly copper to zinc. This shift created multiple varieties, subtle differences, and rare minting anomalies that today drive collectors into a frenzy. And among these variations, the no mint mark error penny stands out like a hidden treasure buried in plain sight. It looks ordinary, but in the world of numismatics, ordinary is often the perfect disguise for extraordinary value. Think about it, the most valuable things in life rarely announce themselves loudly. Sometimes they whisper. And if you are not paying attention, you miss them. Now here is where the story becomes powerful. The 1982 Lincoln Penny exists in several versions, different metals, different weights, and subtle design distinctions. Most people never notice these details. They glance, assume, and move on. But collectors, experts, investors, they observe, they weigh, they verify, and they profit. The no mint mark itself does not automatically mean rarity, but when combined with certain composition and striking anomalies, it becomes a collector's dream. Some rare high-grade examples with distinctive errors have reached astonishing auction figures, turning a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure asset. It almost sounds unbelievable, like finding a winning lottery ticket in yesterday's jeans. But unlike luck, coin collecting rewards knowledge. Picture an auction room filled with serious buyers, hearts racing, bidding paddles rising, numbers climbing higher and higher. The atmosphere thick with anticipation. Why would grown adults compete so fiercely over a penny? Because rarity fuels desire, and desire fuels value. This is not about metal, it is about scarcity, history, and condition. A perfectly preserved coin is like a time capsule, untouched by decades, whispering stories from the past. And here is the humorous twist: while one person is using a penny to tighten a loose screw, another person is selling the same type of penny to buy a luxury car. Funny, but also a wake-up call. Which side would you rather be on? The urgency here is real. Coins disappear into private collections every single day. Opportunities shrink. The longer people wait, the harder it becomes to find exceptional specimens. Imagine realizing years from now that the coin you spent on a parking meter could have funded your dream vacation, your retirement cushion, or your child's education. That sting of regret is exactly why awareness matters now, not later, but here is the empowering truth: you are not late. You are right on time. The 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln Penny continues to capture attention because collectors value authenticity, preservation, and historical significance more than ever. The demand remains strong because this coin represents a turning point in U.S. minting history. It symbolizes change, transition, and opportunity, the very same themes that define financial growth. When you examine your coins, you are not just searching for currency, you are exploring potential. You are stepping into a world where patience, curiosity, and knowledge can convert small discoveries into meaningful wealth. Think of coin collecting not as a hobby, but as a treasure hunt hiding in your everyday life. Every jar, every drawer, every forgotten piggy bank becomes a vault of possibilities. And the beauty is that this journey costs almost nothing to begin, yet the upside can be extraordinary. The excitement you feel when spotting a promising coin, the thrill of verification, the pride of ownership, these are experiences money alone cannot buy. Ironically, they often lead to money anyway. So the next time you see a penny, pause. Hold it. Look closely. Because greatness often hides behind simplicity. The 1982 Lincoln Penny with no mint mark is more than a coin, it is a reminder that opportunities do not always shout. Sometimes they sit quietly in your palm, waiting for the person wise enough to notice. And in a world where many chase fortune in complex ways, perhaps the smartest move is the simplest one: start paying attention to the change in your pocket. Imagine this: you are cleaning out an old drawer, maybe a dusty jar of coins that has been sitting untouched for years, and suddenly a tiny copper-colored Lincoln penny catches your eye. It looks ordinary, almost forgettable, the kind of coin people drop on sidewalks without a second thought. But what if that single 2007 Lincoln penny in your hand could be the difference between an average day and a life-changing financial discovery? What if the coin you once ignored could be worth more than a luxury car, or even a house? Most people will never notice the hidden value in their spare change, and that is exactly why the smart collectors and informed sellers quietly win. Today, we step into a story that could transform how you look at every penny forever, because the 2007 Lincoln Penny with a rare mint error has captured attention in the coin market, with reported high-end auction figures reaching astonishing numbers, sometimes even whispered in the range of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, a penny. 1 cent. The coin people toss into tip jars without blinking. Let that sink in for a moment. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny instead of spending it? Now picture the journey of this coin as if it were a hidden celebrity living among ordinary change. In 2007, millions of Lincoln pennies rolled out of the Denver Mint, stamped with the small D mint mark that most people never notice. But among these millions, a microscopic fraction carried unusual mint errors, subtle design irregularities, off-center strikes, double details, or planchet anomalies that turn an everyday coin into a collector's dream. The coin market thrives on rarity and condition, and when rarity meets a flawless grade, values can skyrocket beyond imagination. Here's the emotional twist: somewhere right now, someone is unknowingly spending a coin that a collector would fiercely compete for. That could be your neighbor, your coworker, or years ago, it could have been you. Think about how many pennies have slipped through your fingers. Feels slightly painful, doesn't it? But here's the empowering truth: the opportunity is still alive. Coins do not disappear, they circulate, they hide, and they wait for the observant eye. The 2007 penny is not just metal, it is a reminder that wealth often hides in plain sight, disguised as the ordinary. And let's be honest, if a penny can command such attention, what else might be sitting quietly in your collection? Makes you want to check your pockets right now, doesn't it? As we reach the final act of this story, the message becomes crystal clear: knowledge is the true currency. The difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin that attracts 5 or 6-figure bids is awareness, patience, and timing. The collectors who succeed are not always the richest, they are the most informed and the most attentive. The market for rare error coins continues to attract serious buyers because history, scarcity, and condition create a powerful combination of demand. When you hold a 2007 VDB Lincoln Penny, you are not just holding spare change, you are holding a question mark that could turn into an exclamation point. The excitement lies in the possibility, the urgency lies in the fact that coins move through hands every day, and the fear lies in overlooking something extraordinary because it looked ordinary. This is not about luck, it is about vision. The individuals who build wealth from collectibles understand one simple principle: value is often invisible to the untrained eye. So the next time a penny glints under the light, pause for a second longer than everyone else. Examine it. Respect it. Because in a world where people chase grand opportunities, sometimes the smallest coin carries the loudest potential. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a simple penny, and discovering that this tiny copper-colored coin could be worth more than a luxury mansion, more than a lifetime of savings, more than most people earn in decades. It sounds unbelievable, almost like a fantasy reserved for movie plots or viral internet myths. Yet in the world of rare coin collecting, stories like these happen more often than people realize. The 2017 VDB Lincoln Penny, a coin that millions ignored and spent without a second thought, has become the center of intense collector interest due to rare mint errors and extraordinary auction results. And here's the shocking truth: some of these pennies have reached values reported as high as $857,000 in elite numismatic circles. Yes, a single cent potentially turning into life-changing money. Now ask yourself one question: when was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your drawer instead of tossing them aside? In the first act of our story, we enter the ordinary world, a world where coins are treated as background noise, pocket clutter, or spare change left on a cafe counter. Most people assume value comes only from gold bars or stock portfolios, never from the humble penny. But history repeatedly proves otherwise. The 2017 VDB Lincoln Penny was minted in Denver and released in massive numbers, yet hidden among those millions were rare variations and mint anomalies that collectors now chase with almost obsessive passion. Picture this like a treasure hunt hiding in plain sight. The average person sees 1 cent. The informed collector sees potential rarity, microscopic imperfections, and the possibility of a financial breakthrough. It's almost humorous, isn't it? We spend hours searching for discounts online, but we rarely spend 10 seconds examining the money already in our pockets. What if the discount you're looking for is actually a 6-figure coin sitting in your kitchen jar? As our story moves into the second act, tension and excitement begin to build. This is where curiosity turns into urgency. Rare coin errors are not common, and that's exactly why their value skyrockets. Collectors compete fiercely for coins with unusual mint marks, doubled features, off-center strikes, or distinctive surface anomalies. Demand grows not because the coin is old, but because it is unique. And uniqueness is the ultimate currency in the collector's world. Imagine attending an auction where seasoned investors, historians, and wealthy enthusiasts raise paddles in rapid succession, each bid climbing higher and higher, transforming a 1-cent coin into a headline-making asset. It's thrilling, almost surreal, like watching a silent drama unfold where the smallest object commands the loudest attention. Here's the emotional trigger that many people ignore: fear of missing out. Every year, countless individuals unknowingly spend rare coins at grocery stores or vending machines, never realizing they may have just handed away a fortune. The idea that life-changing value could slip through your fingers without you noticing, that's a powerful wake-up call, but excitement alone isn't enough, awareness creates opportunity. The modern coin market is no longer a secret club, it's a global network fueled by online auctions, grading services, and collector communities. When the right coin appears, demand can surge instantly. Think of it like real estate in a booming city: the moment the right property hits the market, buyers rush in. The 2017 VDB Lincoln Penny with notable mint characteristics has become one of those properties in the numismatic landscape. And here's a light-hearted reality check: we insure our phones, our cars, even our pets, but how many people insure their coin jars? Sometimes the smallest assets carry the biggest surprises. As we reach the third act, resolution transforms into empowerment. The message here is not just about one coin, it's about perspective. Wealth is often portrayed as something distant, complex, or inaccessible, yet opportunities frequently hide in everyday life, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize them. The penny symbolizes more than currency, it represents awareness, patience, and the willingness to look closer when others look away. For individuals between 30 and 65 who dream of financial security or a more comfortable lifestyle, this is not merely a hobby, it can become a strategic pursuit. The coin market rewards knowledge, timing, and attention to detail. When you begin to treat every coin as a potential artifact rather than spare change, your mindset shifts from passive spender to active seeker of opportunity. And here's the final connection that ties everything together: value is not always visible at first glance. The world's most successful collectors, investors, and entrepreneurs share one common trait: they notice what others overlook. The next time a penny lands in your palm, pause for a moment. Feel its weight. Examine its details. Because sometimes, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is nothing more than a second look.